Hello photo students, this is Photopea and today we are learning how to use the healing brush tool in Photopea in order to either take away things that we don't want in our photo or to just kind of correct them a tiny bit. Let's go. So you were on today's slides and we were looking at this tutorial right here. We are on week 7 and we are on Thursday, and we were to have downloaded one of these images you choose and then open up Photopea. And I've already done that. And now you can either open from computer and look on your computer wherever you store the photo, or you can go file open as well. Photopea has this, Photoshop does not. So it's always kind of good to start getting into practice of also going to file open, because that's how you do it in Photoshop. All right, so I'm gonna go and I have downloaded the female in the middle, because I think she has a wider range of, she not only has freckles, but she doesn't really have true acne. She might have a little bit of red skin, but she definitely has a mole, and so that will help. But we could also open up another one. I see a couple of blackheads that aren't a big deal here, but I want you to have the widest range of correction that you possibly can. So the healing brush tool, if you come down, your toolbar over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. I think it's this one right here, yeah. But remember that I told you to make a layer. As a good photographer, you should always make a duplicate layer over here. So I'm going to go Command J is your shortcut, but if ever you want to on that background layer, right click, you can also choose here, duplicate layer. All right, I am on the correct layer, the copy, and I am now on the healing brush tool. All right, and I want to go ahead and show you what she was talking about, setting the size. Now, if you use too big of a healing brush is bad. If you use too small of one, it would take forever. But for like smaller blemishes where we're just doing spot healing, then it's okay to go small, and I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. But when you're like correcting the whole line of a telephone line like she did, and you want to click and drag over a telephone pole line, well, obviously this would be, you'd have to have a super steady hand. You'd want to increase the size. Notice like when I increase the size of the pixels over here, the brush gets bigger, and that's good for like large patches, but it doesn't always look good, you know, when you're trying to do small. You'll start getting weird things. I'll just tell you that. That's all I could say. And then the hardness, the only time I really have to use 100% hardness on a healing brush tool is if we're using like buildings or things with hard edges, but this is a human, and we need a soft brush, kind of like a makeup brush, something that blends better, like our video we watched earlier said. So I'm going to take this down. I take it like under 50% most of the time. All right, and then I'm going to reduce the size so we can start on some of the smaller blemishes, and then we can work our way up. So to zoom in again, you can go ahead and use this zoom tool, which is at the very, very bottom of your toolbar. It looks like a magnifying glass, and I'm going to zoom into some of these really teeny tiny imperfections. And remember, sometimes there's a delay. All right, so as you can see, we've got a couple of little super minor blackheads, but I'm just teaching you how to use the healing brush tool. So what we would do is we just go ahead and we click down, and you'll notice it went bye-bye. Let's click down on this one. Goodbye. 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 And so if you just want to go through and pick at some of these, it's really satisfying, like actually to heal little places. Let me go ahead and use the hand tool to move down on the photo so we can see. Okay, healing brush tool back. Let's go ahead, and I'm starting to like really be picky. Girl's got some mascara flakes going on. I'm going to take those away too. And sometimes, see, if the brush is too big, you get duplicates of stuff. Like it's starting to pick up ephemera. So I just got to kind of heal that out. Okay, what else? That's a little blackhead. Let's get that mascara off of her. Ooh, it kind of did something weird because the brush was too big. Notice it made her eyelid wonky. So again, that's where you might want to pull the size down. Ooh, that might be too small. I'll just drag across that. There we go. So I'm really picking at this, and I'll try to rush because I want you to see the final result, how powerful it is. It's hard when you're working because it gets so addicting, healing skin. It's like being a dermatologist and going in and being able to heal. So if you're the kind of person who likes mucking about things and messing around with things, you'll really enjoy this tool. It's actually kind of fun to do this. All right, let's see, healing brush tool. Now we're starting to get into some bigger, like I've got these, there's sunspots on her. They might be freckles on me. There's sunspots because I used to, back in the 80s, it was popular to put baby oil on your skin and bake in the sun. And now we know better, right? Like that's not a thing anymore. That we should be doing. Yeah, that was a little too big. But I used to do it because, you know, we didn't know better in the 80s. And so my skin has taken a toll. And now I have these giant, I don't call them freckles because once they get past a certain size, they're more like sun damage. But as you can see, I'm even like clicking on her enlarged pores because some of us sometimes, especially when our skin's irritated or near our nose, we can get some larger pores. And I'm not a huge advocate of correcting, you know, humanity is beautiful naturally. If we get too into this, we've got to look perfect. Everything has to look airbrushed. Well, that's not reality. That will never be reality. And, you know, it's not good to not accept ourselves for all of our beautiful little differences than one another. But I'm going to have to finish up at some point. Let me just kind of heal the whole area. So if you left click and drag, you can kind of heal an area all at once. Just remember, the longer you click and drag, the longer it takes to render. So you have to like give it a bit of breathing space, okay? Okay, let's do this along her cheek here. Maybe down here, it's a little bit more brown. Maybe through here, it's a little red. All right, and then let me move back up to her mole and make the brush a little bit bigger. Okay, I think I'm almost to a point where I would like to really show you guys how powerful this brush is. And then maybe even, let's see if we can kind of heal a tiny bit of this redness a little bit, okay? So I'm going to kind of click and drag through here. Okay, maybe heal a little bit through here. Right. And around the nose. Okay, and now I'm going, oh, yeah, that did not come out well. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, I'm going to, if you're in a Mac, Command 0 will bring you back to normal. If you're in a PC or a Chromebook, Control 0. So Command 0, Control 0. And if you're thinking, okay, this is cool, just so you can see how much hard work you did, if you turn off this eyeball so you can see just the bottom copy, you can see a before and after, if it will let me. I think it's still stuck on the healing brush tool. Let's get off of that. Okay, let's do, there you go. Do you see before and after, you guys? So this will allow you to see all your hard work and what a difference just a tiny bit of help can make. All right, my computer's frozen. There we go. So I want you to save it both as whichever image you chose in your healing. I need you to save it as both a PSD and a JPEG because I want to see that you worked on it and that you made your background copy. If I don't see this background copy, I'm not going to be super happy about that. So again, click on the tab name, double left click, and we're going to name this your last name, your first initial, underscore. This was task 5, and this was healing brush. All right, and then we save it, file, save as PSD, it goes into your downloads, and then file, export as JPEG, high quality, yes. And then again, as a reminder how to put it in your files, you go ahead and search into the drive up here. If you start with your last name, oops, I don't have one. I'm going to go with, sorry, Haley, just because I know you. There we go. So, Haley, and I'm going to look for her photography. Well, actually, it should come up as her folder. Hold on. You guys should look for last name, first initial. There it is almost. Photo. There you go. By the time you get to your last name, comma, first initial, it should show up like your folder, and you'll know that it's your folder because all your work will be in it. And then you just go ahead, and in this case, Haley made a Photopea tutorial folder to put stuff in, but you basically would just take it off your downloads, and once you hover over and it turns blue, it's showing you with the plus sign that you could just drop it into wherever you're going to drop it and let it go, and it'll tell you over to the right when your uploads are complete. Okay, in this case, I don't want to put my exercise in Haley's Photopea folder. She might not be happy with me about that. And yeah, so that is it. You can then close out your file and move on to the next tutorial. So that is task number 5 for the week.